What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Black On Podcast. This is your boy AD. We got Leo and Bab in the building. What up, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
I mean,
So today is just a smorgasbord of Houston sports news. Let's talk about, we got the Rockets, we got the Astros, and we got the Texans with Deshaun Watson news. So let's go ahead and just break down the news of the day. So let's start with the Houston Rockets, who had a draft on Thursday.
Right.
The 22 NBA draft. The Houston Rockets had 3 first-round picks.
Right.
And into it, me personally, I thought they would trade 2 of those picks to move up, but they end up standing pack, making trades, a lot of movement towards the back end of that deal, and end up getting 3 hella quality players. They end up getting Jabari Smith with the number 3 overall pick, 6'10" power forward from Auburn, or 6'11" power forward from Auburn now. We also got tarieason, forward from LSU, 6'8" forward from LSU. And we got tarieason at number 17, and we got Ty Washington at number 29 after a few trades with confusion between Dallas, between Minnesota and Memphis. Like, it's just a smorgasbord, not even trying to figure all that out, but we end up getting him at number 29, 6'2" point guard from Kentucky. So guys' thoughts about those 3 picks. We can talk about them. If you want to start with Jabari, we can start with Jabari.
All right. Well, shit. I mean, my thoughts was we had talked. I think it's hilarious because, like, initially, I think me and Dad talked about this like a month ago, and I said I thought that Jabari was the best fit, but I just didn't. Obviously, it seemed like everything literally coming out until the first. The first. Like literally the pick, was gonna be him, So I had kind of got off of that. And but to see a guy that's 6'10" with that kind of range, is to be able to get him at 3. The knock is like his playmaking, or like, can he develop into a shot maker, playmaker? I feel like it's good. I don't give a fuck about what, if he never gets that. I mean, obviously he's going to get better, but I think he's what when you think about a stretch 4, you have a lot of imposters. You have teams that end up end up playing these small forwards at power forward to get extra shooting and switchability. And you have teams that, also you have these big men that try to develop a shot. And the great thing about him is that he's a mix of the 2. He's a wing. He can defend wings. He has big man size, and he has like the elite shooting ability. So like, I think he's a perfect power forward for today's game when you think about spacing and creating space for your big man on rolls and post ups, and also just running pick and roll and just guards that can penetrate and get to the hole. So like, I mean, if he can even just do what he did in college, I think he'd be a great pro. You know what I'm saying?
What you got, Pat?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a pretty clear and like evident reason why we were considering, or everyone was considering Jabari the number 1 pick in the draft, right? Okay, up until, I mean, shit, wasn't it like an hour until the draft?
Not even an hour. I think it was like 30 minutes before the draft. Like, as the pregame or pre-draft coverage with ESPN was ending, he dropped the Woj bomb.
Yeah.
So Paulo was going to end up being number 1.
Yeah.
Everybody off guard.
So I mean, for me at least, I was kind of writing off the idea of ever getting Jabari, even though kind of low key from the beginning, I thought Jabari was going to be the better fit, and I thought Jabari would be the better player for the Rockets over Paolo. But I kind of just like got my mind set on Paolo, and it's like, all right, like this is going to be our player. Let me find out who he is. So when we ended up with Jabari, I was ecstatic. I think like it's really cool that we finally have like going off of like what Leo was saying, we finally have that forward, like a forward that's like an elite shooter, a plus defender. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna talk about his size. I mean, he has insane size for the position he's gonna be playing with us. But the fact that we finally have a true forward who's gonna be a 3-and-D elite player, you know what I'm saying? Like at both of those spots, right? Everyone was saying like, when the Rockets draft Paulo Banchero, like, is he literally going to be the best forward we've ever had in franchise history? And I was like, I guess, yeah. Like aside from like I don't know, like who are some of the like early 2000s Rockets teams with what's his name, old long-haired dude?
Luis
Yep.
Scola.
Yeah, Luis Scola. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I guess, but no, with Jabari, I truly feel like yeah, dude, this is gonna be like the best power forward the franchise has ever had. Like we will end up seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What you think, AD? Oh shit, you on mute.
My bad. My bad. For me, I'm just sharing, some highlights with Jabari on it. For me, I was a Paulo guy even before the draft because of Paulo's playmaking ability and him being kind of the consensus top guy from everything, and he kind of proved it at Duke. Big stocky guy, 6'10", 250, playing at, dude, look at that extension from Jabari. But after
Pause.
right after looking into it, I kind of see what everyone was saying about Jabari. Looking at highlights like these, with Jabari and him with the length, the playmaking ability, the range, the defense. To me, the biggest thing is his defense. His defense kind of won me all the way over. Just the fact that he can guard 1 through 5 and be effective, especially on the perimeter, he's not a liability. That right there is what the Rockets needed desperately. And just to look at that pull up three, has the range for days. He can get to the logo if need be. Can pass a little bit like you see him passing to Kessler. Just a lot of different things that he can do that's multifaceted that to me makes him, worthy of being a number 1 pick. And it's kind of ironic that the last 2 years, the Rockets, end up with the consent. To me, I feel like the number 1 pick in both spots. Jalen Green should have been a number 1 pick in last year's draft, and we got him at 2. And Jabari should have been a number 1 pick in this year's draft, and we got him at 3. So the Rockets, I think, are falling into good luck. Even that post-game shimmy I saw, so that he just had. So that right there is nice. Those type of things from Jabari is kind of exciting for me, which kind of turned the tide for me over Paulo. A lot more comfortable.
I mean, to me, the whole idea that Paulo was gonna fall to 3 was like kind of far-fetched, because just like the same we bring up, last year with Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham, it's just the facts that like when you have a guy who's like, 1 or 2 top, what am I trying to say? Like his top strengths is playmaking, and they're 6'8" and above. Playmaking, shot creating, and they're 6'8" and above. Like it's so hard for those guys to not go, 1 or 2. Saying? So like, I think people gamble with the upside. I guess like, people think that the upside of those guys is like, But I mean, I'm happy with Jalen, bro. I think Jalen, we have someone that can, we have our lead scorer, our number 1 option going forward. Now we have, a guy that, like you're saying, bro, like, and I think the idea of shot creation and playmaking, like, you don't have to fucking be able to face up ISO and dribble at the top of the key to like be a shot creator. I mean, like you just said, his post game, you can play make out of the post. If you play small against us now, like you really can't really play small against us because we have two guys that have, really good. I mean, they're still young, but have potential in that area. You can't put, what I'm saying, like we were talking about yesterday on the space. Teams that will go out there and trot out 3 guards. You can't do that because all you have to do is set a fucking pick and roll with Jabari, and he's isoing, he's posting up. What I'm saying, your wing. What I'm saying. So I love.
I mean,
great.
Yeah, and then I mean, damn, like if we truly do what?
No, I was saying that logo 3 just hit a minute.
Oh yeah.
The logo 3 that Jabari.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, would you pull up his shot chart, AD?
Yeah.
But I was also gonna add to that, Leo. If we actually give Boban minutes off the bench, what the fuck? How are you even gonna play small ball again? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can't. Yeah.
You can't.
No.
So yeah. I mean, I'm always talking about post game and wanting to see post game. I'm so excited because I mean, now we actually get to fucking see it. What I mean?
Yeah.
We get to see, Sangoon, and it's great. It's great to actually have bigs that can fucking, do shit other than set.
Yeah. When AD gets this the shot chart pulled up.
Here we go.
Oh.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so here on this shot chart, so when you're looking at Jabari's shot chart, look at where he's blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So blue is like bad, but like red is elite.
Yeah, blue is cold, red is hot.
Mm-hmm.
How is this not literally the opposite of Şengün's?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like we literally saw Şengün score from these blue areas more than anything. Don't y'all remember seeing Şengün score his threes from down, like straight down the middle?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it was always like slightly to the right or slightly to the left.
Yeah, and then Şengün was just punishing people right there in that middle blue area for Jabari. So if you've got a forward that's 6'10", a little bit bigger than your center now, whose elite shot chart is opposite of your starting center.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of space, bro. That's a lot of ground to cover, bro.
Look at effective field goal percentage was 52%. To me, that's damn good. To me, he's one of the best pure shooters out of the draft this year. Which
he might be one of the best pure shooters in the NBA next year, man.
Yeah. Man, don't start that hype, man. Don't start everybody hype on here.
Okay, well, hey, let's keep it rolling. I mean, listen, we got the consensus number 1 pick who was thought to be the best player in the draft and was the betting favorite until like 30 minutes until until damn the pick was in. You know what I'm saying? So, maybe this is a little off topic and besides the point. I think almost the Rockets played the Magic into picking Banchero because if you actually looked at national media and stuff like that, Banchero was getting talked about the most.
Yeah,
they were talking about Banchero going to the Rockets more than they were talking about Jabari or Chet going before him. You know what I'm saying? Like they were like, oh, Banchero's gonna go join the Rockets. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all that they were talking about, right? And so, once we got to like the pick time, it didn't really surprise me that Paolo ended up going number 1. But at the same time, I was like, man, they took our guy. But I mean, shit, I'm not mad with the outcome,
Right. My biggest fear was us getting Chet. So if we didn't get Chet, I was about to start another hashtag. Anybody but Chet.
Oh no, damn.
So, like that was what I was, about to go because I was like, Chet ain't it, man. I can do without Chet.
Nah, we have a friend on Twitter who, similar to our last hashtag, liked Chet Holmgren is the best player for the Rockets.
Oh.
Maybe we both know who we're talking about. Okay, so anyways, y'all want to go on to our 17th pick?
Yeah, we can go to the next pick right here. You see tarieason LSU 4, 6'8", versatile defender, hell of a defender. Like that's his A game. And you can see the Rockets shift from, that pro offensive players that they got in last year's draft between Christopher, who's plays both sides well. Alfred Şengün and Jalen Green are more offensive players than defensive players at this point. You see that the shift went from that to this year's draft where they go, let's get some defensive stalwarts. We got Smith, who's a defensive stalwart, versatile defender, can guard 1 through 5. Same with tarieason, 6'8", can guard 1 through 5. What are you guys' thoughts on him?
Oh
yeah, Leo. Go ahead, Leo.
Oh man. Well, shit. I mean, bro. I really like this pick too. I mean, you get two guys, 6'8" and above that can guard multiple positions. I think, I see him kind of like. It's interesting because he played. A lot of people kind of view him as a big, like between 4 and playing small ball 5, I guess. But I think for us, man, I mean, it's an interesting thought to think about playing even him at the 4 and Jabari at the 3. But like I think to me, he's kind of like the perfect guy that's like in between everybody, like that can guard down and guard up equally well. And I mean, I think he kind of has some like some kind of like offensive upside. I don't think he's just a defender. I think that he showed improvement in shooting. I don't have his stats up, but I think he had, what was his free throw percentage? So he shot 57 from free throw, and as a freshman, 80% from free throw as a sophomore. And a lot of people use that as indicators on how well someone projects as a shooter, man. So I think it's another great pick. I mean, it's shaping up to be a very, very good defensive team in the long run for sure.
Yeah, just go ahead, Bab. Just showing some highlights of him, of Tari as well.
Okay, so I'll jump in and talk about tarieason now. All right, so I think my biggest takeaway for Tari, it was so funny. I was like prepared for this pick to happen more than any of the other ones. It's kind of funny because like a month ago, they were in mock drafts. It was like consistently at pick 17, we were taking tarieason. It was like every single time. So I had been looking this guy up like crazy. And something pretty cool about tarieason is he was a 6th man. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't even really a starter. He started, I think it was like 3 or 4 games or something like that. Maybe and that's it. So I guess I don't know really what to think of a player whose main role was to be a 6th man, but man, 6'8" and a 7'2" wingspan. Just off of that build and his defensive efficiency, they gave him like Kawhi Leonard comparisons. You know what I'm saying? Like that's at least like his build and like his style of play, right? Now, when you watch Tari, he struggles scoring with his left hand. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a blatant like struggle for him. But with his right hand and from the right side of the basket, I mean, he will just crush the lane. Like it's unstoppable force. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna stop him. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna really get in his way either. Very, very good in transition, like a very good transition forward. And what you were saying, Leo, about him, like you could even play him at the 4 and Jabari at the 3 because it almost naturally fits their skill sets better. I don't think that's too far-fetched of an idea. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to have Jabari, whose biggest skill set is shooting, and then you're going to have Eason's, whose biggest skill set is defense, you know what I'm saying? Right? They can switch roles on defense and offense. You know what I'm saying? Like on defense, you can throw Jabari on the damn power forward. You know what I'm saying? And have Eason cover the small forward. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. It's interchangeable. They're very good forwards who I think should play together sooner than later.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so weird how they drafted those two guys right after each other. And they drafted Green and Şengün equal amount of picks away from each other. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's like in 2 drafts, we have our entire like starting 5 figured out between those 4 players.
Right.
You know, like that's what we should. Now, if Eason's main role next season is to come off the bench, that's totally fine. I mean, you're going to ask Eason to mainly defend bench players. That's underutilizing him. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to put the clamps on him. That's a no-brainer, right? What do you got, AD?
For me, like I stated earlier, you know, Tari, I'm happy with the pick because of his defensive prowess and the fact that he can actually shoot from 3 and be effective from the 3. Just looking at his highlights and looking at his, you know, play, he can come off the dribble. He has like all the different aspects you want. I think he needs a little bit more development. He's a transfer to LSU. Guy's a little bit older. I think he's one of our oldest draft picks that we've had out of the 7 that we had the last 2 years. He's the oldest, but he still has a lot of development in his game that to me will make him an effective player. It's funny that his mom nicknamed him Peso. I don't know if y'all watching the draft broadcast, but his mom nicknames him Peso because he said his jumper is always money.
Hey, nice.
So, you know, that was interesting, you know. But to me, I think he's going to be one of those give me lockdown defender, PJ Tucker corner 3 type guys. Can really and not just be limited at the corner. He can also hit in the, you know, all around the 3-point line and drive if necessary. And he's big enough to kind of and long enough with those long arms, like he can really be a problem, you know, offensively. So that's, you know, just the same sentiments I had before, but I'm really excited about him. Like Bav said, he's been mocked to us, you know, basically the whole draft cycle. You know, just finally you see something that comes to fruition, no trades, no anything. We got him at the exact pick that he's been mocked to us for the last 2-3 months. So you know, this to me it's something there. He's a first round pick for a reason. So I'm excited to see him develop and for him to be an actual starter on the team. My thing is looking at it, a defensive lineup with Jabari playing the 5, him playing the 4. We get Jayshawn Tate at the 3. You have or Garuba at the 3 or whoever at the 3. Garuba at the 4, Tari at the 3, Josh Christopher at the 2, KPJ at the 1, or flip-flop it, and Josh at the 1 and
or Ty,
you know, like the next pick we're gonna talk about. That defensive lineup, to me, you have scoring ability, you have playmaking ability, you have just about and hella defensive ability. The playmaking, like if you put Jayshawn Tate in there at the 3, you got playmaking ability with him. You have playmaking ability with Josh Christopher and Ty. You got scoring with Ty inside that 3-point line. Hopefully he develops that 3. We'll talk about it in a little bit too. And hella scoring from Jabari Smith, Tari, you know, and Garuba can be on that outrun as well. I think his 3-point game was coming together towards the end of the season as well. So imagine that defensive lineup, just ridiculous. Just locking people down, not giving up anything, and being able to play on a perimeter, being able to play in the driving lanes and everything like that as well, and the post. So, you know, that to me, that I'm just kind of amped up and waiting for that.
For sure.
You know, so moving on, since we mentioned them, let's talk about our last draft pick for the Rockets. That is Ty Washington Jr. from Kentucky, 6'2" point guard. What do you guys thoughts about him?
I can't lie, bro. I didn't really know too much about him until like after we drafted him, and I looked him up. He seems like pretty much what you want a point guard to be. He has decent size at 6'3", which, with the emergence of these point or power or point forwards and bigger guards, man, people forget that that's like a normal height for a point guard, So I think he kind of actually gives us something that we was missing, which is I can't say his role. I don't know, obviously we don't know how many minutes and stuff, but I think for sure, bro, he gives us something that we was missing. That's just a normal natural point guard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sorry.
Yeah, so Ty Washington, if y'all remember me in the spaces and in the group chat and stuff, he was one of those guys I was even saying maybe we take him at 17. I was really kind of pounding the table for us to take Ty, especially after he fell past 20. When he fell past 20, I was like, oh my God, there's no way we're about to get Ty. And I couldn't believe that he ended up being our pick at 29, right? That was totally crazy to me. So just to give y'all a little bit of an idea about Ty, I love to watch Kentucky. Kentucky's they're an NBA factory. You know what I'm saying?
It's basketball blue, NCAA blue blood. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the thing with Ty is they were having him as a combination guard last year. And they played him alongside their other guard as sometimes he gets reps as a true point guard. Sometimes he needs to play on the boundary as a shooting guard and cut and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then he got injured. Well, when he came back from his injury, they had him playing a few games as the true point guard, and he just took off, man. He took off. I mean, on the pick and roll, he was diving that mid-range, he was getting his perfect spot, right there in the pocket, right there in the corner, boom, knocking it down straight from the free throw line. Great vision in the outlet passes too. Really great vision in the outlet passes. Obviously, his defense is great. That was one of the main things for him. Everyone hung their hat on his defense. They always thought that Ty was going to be drafted because of his defense. But another general consensus is they felt like he was underutilized at Kentucky, but also his injury was one of those things where it felt like there was just more players you had more tape on that made more sense to draft before him because you knew who they were. Whereas Ty, you're taking just a little bit of a gamble, right? You're not gambling on his defense. His defense is phenomenal. It's fantastic. His ability to kind of create on the boundary is only great because his jump shot is lightning fast. I mean, it's lightning fast. I wish we could just show a video of that, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, it's going to look like a damn it's gonna look like a damn PlayStation 1 video or something. But what's it called? He's not a great creator and playmaker by himself, but on the boundary, he does a great job of just separating real quick and getting up a quick jumper. It's fantastic. I think he should immediately be the backup point guard and play as kind of the sixth man or a similar role to that. But the way that they view Daishawn Nix, they literally said last season that they view Daishawn Nix as a lottery talent, where he was a player that they picked up in undrafted free agency, and he played in the summer league and the G League a little bit for us, and then came up and played with the Rockets some. It's going to make that competition the biggest competition. Who is behind KPJ, right? But truly, I think we have two bona fide good point guards on the team now, and I think Ty should be the person coming off the bench to play point guard on the second team.
For me, Ty, I think the biggest thing is that 17 assists his first game. Kentucky, 17 assists, that shows his playmaking ability, his willingness to find an open teammate. That's a positive, uber positive thing for me. And then secondly, I think this opens the door. I know a lot of Rockets fans about to hate me for this take. I'm sorry, but not sorry. This opens the door for you to move on from KPJ. This opens the door for you to not be locked down with KPJ not making that trade. I mean, not making that contract extension, not being forced to do that because you really didn't. You were uncertain at the point guard position. I think you draft Ty. At the end of the day, he's going to be your long-term point guard. He's going to be an eventual starter. He has that ability. Um, and in a system where you have Jabari Smith, you have Jalen Green, you know, you have Alpharon Sengun, you need as many playmakers as far as not making plays for themselves, but making plays for others as you possibly can. I think a lineup, because they just end up giving extending Jayshawn Tate's contract today as well.
Yeah, picked up his option.
Yeah, picked up his option. So just imagine a lineup with Ty at the 1, Jalen at the 2, Jayshawn at the 3, Jabari at 4, and Sengun at 5. Like making the playmaking from your 3, your 1, and your 5, and letting Jabari and Jalen cook and eat. Like that right there to me is a hell of a lineup. It fits defensively as well. You're not overmatched defensively. The liability is not as bad from Sengun. I think he improved greatly towards the end of the year. But just, you know, lineups like that, it kind of gives you that combination to do whatever you want to do and however you want to do it, however you want to scheme it up, or however you want to do it. I think this also signals the Eric Gordon trade coming out. Eventually, I feel like that's going to happen before summer league, before free agency. That trade is going to happen, or right at free agency. Eric Gordon is going to get traded, and then the John Wall trade needs to happen, or buyout needs to happen as well. I think once you get those two veterans and just fully indulge in the youth movement, I think that's when you'll see the major improvement in them fighting for that play-in seed, a la how Memphis had last year with Ja Morant, his second year, and then coming in this year, they make a run in the playoffs. I think it's especially surrounded with all that talent, like that young talent, him, Jaren Jackson Jr. I think you can see the same aspect with Jalen Green and Jabari Smith. So I think that is what I'm looking forward to as far as the Rockets draft. You know, in total, you know, to kind of sum up the Rockets draft, I think they made 3 excellent picks. I think they made 3 picks that all 3 of them could have been in the top 15, especially Jabari. You know, he's top. He was actually should have been number 1, but Tari and Ty, both of those guys were talented enough to be top 15 picks. You know, teams kind of, you know, as they always do in the NBA draft, they make their own decision on players. But I think we looked up and looked out on all 3 of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we did a great job. I wasn't expecting us to take 3 players, you know, but if we were going to get 3 players, I mean, damn, these were the 3 players you should fucking get. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love the way that we've pretty much reshaped the forward position for the Rockets between these 2 drafts. You know, I think with Garuba and Eason, you have 2 extremely talented defensive players. You know what I'm saying? Like extremely talented defensive players. So it'll be great. It'll be great. I can't wait to see it. You being a clown, Leo?
No, bro, I was looking at stats and shit, and I had it on the wrong screen. So if that was talented what you did, man. I mean, shit. If you saw me talking to myself and you started talking, that was really, really good. But nah, yeah, bro, I'd agree, bro. Nah, man, I think it was a good draft. And dude, I mean, bro, it's not often that you find a way to draft defense and offense at the same time, and that's exactly what they did, you know.
Yeah. They covered bases, you know.
They addressed needs. You know?
I mean, man, like the wing position in the NBA is like pretty much the worst. I mean, not the worst, the most important position, pretty much.
Yeah. KD tweeted, night of draft night, it's a wings league now. Like it's literally a wings league. Like they're ruling. They're taking over. You know, they went from the big man league to the point guard league to now it's the wing league. So,
Yep.
you know,
I mean, if you're gonna be a point guard, you have to have something like unique about your game. Like you have to be like an extraordinary, shooter. I mean, like when I say point guard, I mean like true point guard size. Like you have to be an extraordinary shooter, have extraordinary playmaking, or just be like, able to just literally go up on top of everybody. And if you can't do any of those things, that's why the idea, and I mean the idea of KPJ. That's why, like, the idea of KPJ is great because like you get this. If you don't have a true point guard, or someone like that, you play him there, and like it's you get the benefits of like, what I'm saying. It's kind of like a fucked up John Morant or like a fucked up, what I'm saying. So I hate to not I don't mean that like to slight him, what I mean, but it's just like, what I'm saying. I don't know. But
yeah. But just to close out the conversation with the Rockets, let's take a look at their draft picks going forward. This year we had the Brooklyn pick, we had the Milwaukee pick. We didn't have the Detroit pick because that wasn't 17 through 30 or the Portland pick. But we had the Milwaukee and Brooklyn pick. We turned that Milwaukee pick into the Dallas pick. We traded that pick and we end up getting an additional first round pick because I think we traded that pick away, Milwaukee's pick away. And then we end up getting a pick from Dallas and we traded that pick in 29. So we had those three. Then you go back to 23 where we swap with Brooklyn, who was looking like more and more day by day. It may end up being a clusterfuck with Kyrie leaving and KD eventually walking out the door, maybe next year, maybe this year as well, or requesting a trade or whatever like that, kind of blowing up the situation in Brooklyn. So that pick looks hella good right now. If Detroit takes Jay Ivey and Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren to the playoffs, hey, if they can ride those three and they end up making the playoffs in the East, now we're looking at the Detroit pick as well.
Yeah.
Portland is already striving to get up there. Just imagine if they pull off a KD trade, where you got KD, Nurkic, and Damian Lillard on the team. They're gonna make a deep run in the playoffs, so we can end up having that pick. So imagine us having 3 more first round picks the next year. And it kind of keeps going on. Like we own Brooklyn pick, we own our own. Oklahoma City's pick, we'll own that pick. Like just that to me, the pick, we're just stockpiling picks. And so all the way, if you look down, the Brooklyn picks go all the way to 2027.
Yeah.
So we own or swap with Brooklyn every year to 2027. So,
hell, we could be a playoff team by then.
Yeah, right.
They could literally, fingers crossed, bro. Imagine them being the worst team in the NBA and like we're making a playoff run.
Right. And we can use that ammunition to trade for, let's say if we feel like the players didn't develop into superstars or key pieces, we can use that to trade for, whoever is a megastar at the time to kind of go in with Jalen Green. Let's say or whatever. If Jabari and Jalen need a Miami 2.0, we can make that trade and go get us somebody that can be that third man along with those two and just go run the league crazy.
Yeah, come on, Zion.
Right.
No, but really, it's uncharacteristic for me to prey on someone's downfall. But if the Brooklyn Nets blow up and Kyrie and KD leave, and it's can y'all name me somebody who would be running that fucking Blake Griffin?
It's Ben Simmons. It's the Ben Simmons show.
Ben Simmons is never gonna play.
Yeah, man, his back is hurt.
Ben Simmons is cooked too. So just moving on, from the Rockets, let's talk about the Astros real quick. They played the Yankees today and got a no-hitter. Let's talk about how the Houston Astros are coming in the last two games and beating the Yankees after that first game where we lost. You know, in that ninth inning loss where we were up, we should have won that first game, and we end up, kind of bombing it with the relief pitcher Ryan Presley. You know, he came back this game after. I know Leo gonna sit this out, so me and Bab will talk about it.
Yeah, sure.
We got Christian Javier threw 7 ridiculously crazy innings, just badass innings, like just shut them out. Had Stan swinging, Judge swinging at everything, and just had them confused all day long. Threw 113 pitches, which is I think his highest ever, and even that 113 was a strikeout. So me personally, I feel like he probably could have went another inning, but you don't push him. Baseball, you don't push those guys that far. Then Neris, and he made me nervous because Neris, ever since that suspension, has been giving up home run after home run and kind of been bad as a reliever. But he came in and allowed a few walks, had me real nervous about not just the no-hitter, but them losing the game. He came in, gave up a few walks, but ended up getting out of the jam. And I feel bad for him because the ump changed the strike zone in his inning, in that 8th inning, was stupid. Like, he had clear strikes and the ump was just calling the balls, and that's what kind of put him in the jam. But the fact that he worked himself out without giving up a hit, congrats, props to you, Hector Neris. And then we go to Ryan Presley, the redemption for Ryan Presley after giving up that walk-off to Aaron Judge in the first game of the series, and came in, shut down Donaldson, and I think it was Hicks. Was it Hicks and Donaldson? The first 2 batters in the 9th, and then, got Stanton to ground out to Bregman to end that game like that. That no-hitter was special. I think the last time the Yankees were no-hit was against the Astros in 2003, 19 years ago, almost to the date, 19 years ago, in the old Yankee Stadium, and they did it with 6 pitchers last time, and this time they did it with, conventional 3. But, what's your take on it, Bab?
Yeah, I mean, you covered pretty much everything about the pitching. That's great. The only thing I wanted to add, really, without basically just repeating exactly what you said, is at the beginning of the season, prior to the start of the season, I guess, they said that they viewed Christian Javier more as a starter now this year. Mm-hmm. This complicates things, man, because you have Odorizzi coming off of his rehab assignment, and you had Lance McCullers throwing live batting practice, or like a live simulation today, right? Mm-hmm. Like against a few batters. I think he threw 40 pitches, like a live action. And there's a video of him in full uniform throwing to Siri, you know, and he added his slider back today. Mm-hmm. Man, if he's on that type of trajectory, what happens with the starting lineup? That's a huge question going forward. I don't have the answers for it right now.
One thing I think they can do is put McCullers, because you don't want to take away Luis Garcia. You don't. Mm-hmm. Odorizzi has to be a starter for him to be effective, because for Odorizzi it's all mental more than anything. He has the stuff is more mental for anything. But I think that if you can push McCullers and limit his pitches, limit his pitch count, making him a reliever, I think you have a gem, and you're shoring up your bullpen at the same time with McCullers coming in as a relief pitcher. Let's say, instead of Javier, running these 7 innings, because they want to limit his pitches as well. The combination of Javier and McCullers is kind of the opposite of what they did with McCullers before. When McCullers would start the game, go about 6 innings, and then they'll bring Javier in, and he'll go, 7 and 8. And I think if you flip it and have Javier go 6 and McCullers go the 7 and 8, or he can, get you an inning, a good inning or 2, then I think that'll be damn good for the bullpen, and then it'll reserve Stanek. It'll reserve Presley. You can kind of, and to me, Presley needs to be kind of slowed down towards the end of the year, in the fall especially. Take some games off from Presley and kind of save that arm for the playoffs. Um, he's getting older now, so I think they need to just save his arm for the playoffs and use Stanek, who has a live arm. Use McCullers and then role. Use Neris. Use Montero, who's been awesome.
Yeah.
Hell of a steal that you got from the Mariners. And even Matan, another steal you got from the Mariners. Well, no, not Matan. Matan came from Cleveland, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But you got Matan, you got Montero. Though, like, your bullpen is pretty much set, especially if you're getting Odorizzi and McCullers back. And then the lineup of Verlander, Valdez, Urquidy, Luis Garcia, and then a combination of Javier and McCullers and Odorizzi too. Now you can even extend Justin Verlander. You can extend him days. Like the Mets had when they had 6 starters.
Yeah.
So those options are available. But yeah, I'm liking this because it's the Yankees.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, fuck the Yankees.
So even though the story is a no-hitter and we like really put it on both of the New York teams, I think the thing that you really almost like it's almost kind of head scratching to me, and it's almost like, is this shit really gonna happen to the Astros again? It's JJ Metajevic.
Yeah.
I mean, he pimped that thing out there, dude. You know what I'm saying? And he ran those fucking bases with some swagger. You know what I'm saying?
He threw up the H and everything. Yep.
And so, I understand that we brought in Yuli to pinch hit, and we needed to because he's great in that area. Yuli's slowing down. We got to face the fact. I don't know if JJ Metajevic is like the future there, but he might do damn good. But then we saw Jake Myers back out there.
Yep.
And Jake opened the game up with the first base hit, and then he immediately tested that outfield play up against the wall,
Yeah.
And it's like, man, is this shit falling into our lap again? Are we getting healthy at the right time? Are we heating up? Is it, like what's happening?
What's crazy is that now with all of that's going on, remember Pena hasn't played in over a week.
Yeah.
You still got Pena. And Maldonado, once he's done, you have Corey Lee coming up, who's like your top prospect in your farm system, who's one of the best catchers, defensive catchers, as well as hitting catchers in the minor leagues. So just imagine you have him, you have Metajevic at first base replacing Yuli, you have Pena already replacing Correa, like almost like right, right. It's almost like you have a seamless transition. And I think Jake Myers shores up that Suri, Chase McCormick, clusterfuck going back and forth. I think this, as much as I like Chas McCormick, I think that you end up trading Chas McCormick. I think the best options right now is Suri, as far as defensive purposes. Suri and Myers are your best defensive and hitting. Well, McCormick is a better hitter than Suri, but I think you'll take less of that for the defensive upside of Suri and the speed of Suri, the upside of Suri, and the Myers with his speed and his defensive prowess and his hitting ability. I think Myers is a click guy, is a James Click guy, so I think he's going to be there for sure. But expect the Astros to make some trades and kind of clearing out some guys to kind of open up the roster spot for JJ Metajevic and Pena coming back, and they got Dubon that they traded from San Francisco. The Giants, I think that's a good player. He's been playing well as well. So just imagine there's going to be some shaking, but the Astros farm system and the way they've managed it and the kind of seeming I can't even say the word, seamlessly transition to those players, I think it's kind of awesome for the Astros, and I'm excited because right now it looks like we're gonna make another run for that chip, man.
Yeah, one last thing. I think Maldonado's contribution to this team That's outside of the offensive, the lack of offensive power from him. He has caught 2 immaculate innings this year, and now a perfect, not a perfect game, but a no hitter.
A no-hitter, right?
Man, what catcher is doing better defensive things right now? You know what I'm saying? Like it's incredible, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I think he's a valuable asset. I would like when he retires to move into that bench role.
Oh yeah.
Coaching. I think they can't let him go. I think he would be a perfect pitching coach for the Astros. I think that he.
Hey, yeah.
Like you lose your guy that, what's his name? I forgot his name. The pitching coach last year who went to the Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm.
You lose him, but if you can some kind of way turn Maldonado into a pitching coach, oh man,
that'd be sweet.
Like, I think you got to keep him in the locker room. Even if you make the transition, I think
your bench coach, anything.
Yeah, I think towards the end of this year, you get rid of Castro. As much as Castro came in, you kind of get rid of Castro and you bring Corey Lee in to kind of start learning behind Maldonado. That next year, Maldonado can play the Castro role where he comes in spots, but he's in the locker room, and Corey Lee takes control of that catcher spot.
They gave Şengün the nickname Goon.
What the hell?
I didn't mean to drop that in randomly. I just saw that. I was like, a projected Rockets lineup, and instead of saying Şengün, they just put Goon, and I was like, hey, fuck it. But all right, let's jump into the most fruitful information that we could receive.
Right. So the news of the day coming in about Deshaun Watson, who is scheduled for a hearing with the NFL representatives on Tuesday. The disciplinary committee hearings on Tuesday. And right now, I'm gonna show it on the screen right now. It's looking like not so well for Watson. If you see, Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, NFL disciplinary hearing scheduled on Tuesday. Right now, NFL is pushing for a lengthy suspension. We can go to Pro Football Talk. The NFL is seeking an indefinite suspension lasting at least 1 year, and even more deep diving into tweets on Twitter and other NFL reporters and everything. They're talking about 2 years. They're talking about 2 years for Deshaun. And as a Texan fan, the football gods have said, you know what, Houston? We bless you with Deshaun, but we're going to, he kind of, screwed the pooch. We're gonna take this opportunity. We're gonna bless y'all again. You got the draft picks, and if Deshaun Watson is suspended, God forbid the man is gonna play football again. I wish him all the best, on the football field, except when he plays the Houston Texans. But if he's suspended 2 years, thank God, because we're gonna have 2 very good first round picks from the Cleveland Browns. And after that, do what you do, play however you play. But I think if that suspension is indefinite, where he's suspended at least a year and maybe more, to me, I think that's just a beautiful thing as a Texan fan. No disrespect to Deshaun, the player, Deshaun, the man, regardless of what is true, what is not true, at the end of the day, as a Texan fan, this is just some of the best news you could possibly hope for. Even in the short I posted, I said that I'm suspecting a year with the NFLPA jumping in, trying to negotiate it down. But now it looks like the negotiating down is a year. So, like,
it's from being like, bro, they're negotiating it down from being indefinitely, bro. Like, that's embarrassing, bro. Like, God.
So I only disagree with like the NFL's decision because it doesn't include the fact that the Texans should get every one of Cleveland Browns draft picks for the entirety of Deshaun's tenure at Cleveland for the blatant disrespect on the NFL, right? Like that, the Texans should take over every one of their picks for putting up with this monster.
Just another tidbit to the whole scenario. It says a full season suspension will pause his contract for a year, extending his contract to 2027, and his salary will be replaced by that $1 million for the year. Which we already talked about before because they negotiated that in his contract. But that second year, that's a whole nother story. But it's just, the way the steam is starting to pile up on Deshaun. I think for sure, I don't want to say for sure. For hope, for hope's sake, Deshaun is gonna be gone a year. At least, and I'm thinking with Jacoby Brissett, we're gonna at least get a top 10 pick or a top 12 pick from that, Cleveland Browns on top of our pick. So I think we'll have a very, very nice combo of very good to great players. And, even maybe being able to kind of move around in the draft and trade. So I'm excited. Y'all, Bab gave his 2 cents. What you think, Leo?
I mean, shit, if there's anything that can happen for him to not play like the entirety of the time we have their 2 picks and just everything going wrong, for the Cleveland Browns whole roster, bro, the whole damn city of Cleveland, bro. I mean, I shouldn't say that because there's nice people in Cleveland, but just the Cleveland Browns organization. I mean, that shouldn't really disturb the people of Cleveland too much. I mean, it's not like they've ever really been good in the first place. So, yeah, man, I don't know. This is good news, man. I mean, I'm sorry that it has to be at his expense, but I just wish that they, if it was me, I can't say if it was me because this wouldn't be me, but like, I mean, fuck it, dude. I mean, he was the guy that got caught doing the shit, and I mean, it just kind of is what it is. So, I mean, I'm excited. They got a lot of talent coming out this year and next year, man. So shit,
just a tidbit. Sue Robinson, the disciplinary officer. Here, this tidbit right here, where it says once Robinson rules, Watson will have the option to appeal. Of course, he's going to appeal, and then Roger Goodell could either rule on that appeal, or call an independent ruler. I think Roger Goodell is going to rule on it. So, like, if Robinson gives a 2-year ban and he appeals it, I think Goodell is going to be like, okay, no, you're not going to play this season for sure. But instead of making it 2 years, I'm gonna just say indefinite. So when you get to court in April of next year and you settle those cases, once the rulings and everything of those 4 that are left, because he did settle 20. We haven't talked about it. But I did on the short, but he did settle 20 of those 24 civil lawsuits, and with 4 still outstanding. So if he goes to court and he's suspended indefinitely, at least a year, indefinitely, being beyond a year, regarding the cases and whatever, it kind of leaves that door open to kind of say, hey, we're just going to keep this suspension rolling because you were found at fault in one of those 4 cases, which could lead to him end up being suspended 2 years anyway. So, that little tidbit was kind of, interesting in Adam Schefter's, article. But other than that, man, this was the Houston sports, mashup today. Usually we talk Texans, but we're gonna start opening up the brain trust of everybody. We're gonna even incorporate some college football when the season starts. Talk about U of H, talk about our HBCUs, talk about main college. Leo want to talk about UT. It took everything me to not to say TU, but talk about UT. We talk about A&M. We can talk about Baylor, all the different Texas schools and how Big 12, SEC, U of H, and the AAC. We can talk about just about everything, and I think going forward, you'll see a lot more from us at the Black On Podcast. So you know, at the end of the day, we're gonna sign out on this episode. This has been another episode of the Black On Podcast. It's your boy AD with co-hosts Leo and Bab. You know, we'll see y'all next time. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget and share the content. Put it out there. We making moves, man. We holler at y'all later.